Reec. The homie Reec, you already know, man. It's Taylor Gang or Die.
Who you with?
Reec.
Yeah. Who you with?
Who you with?
Hey, man, we back at it. Thursday, feeling good. We dangerously close to the weekend. Your boy Reec is checking in right here from Media Campus West, Reec Show Live. We got an action-packed day today. We have the person that's going to make sure that the stuff you create up here in your head and your mind, she's going to make sure that it stays yours and protected, all right? So we're going to speak with this beautiful young woman today. We also got my brother from another, Fred, going to tell us a little bit about fitness training. He brought a special guest, a homie Calico Jones. You heard the name rings bells. We're going to talk about all that in a minute, but first and foremost, let's introduce our special guest for today.
It's all about that star power.
Stay tuned because you know Reec is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
We have the brand protector, the woman of all trades, on the line with us right now, going live right here at Reec Radio. What's up, mama? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. I'm so happy to have you on. You know why? Because we're in a space where so many people create content. So many people have these ideas. They're creating books. They're creating these programs. If we have some people in here today in the studio audience that they make fitness routines. They have all types of stuff. So we have you on the line, and you're a person that helps all of us, all of these creators, and you're a creator yourself, so we're going to talk about that too. But we help all of these creators protect their creations.
Yes, we do. We believe that it's important that you own what you create. A lot of people create, but not a lot of people own, right? And once you own, that's where the money's at, right?
Okay, we
that's
like the money. Where the money's at?
Exactly. you once you own, that's when you can look into monetization, and a lot of people miss out on that because they don't actually own what they create.
Right. So Kendra, how did you fall into this space? Like, what made you want to start working with intellectual property law? Because basically that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about I've created something in my brain, and I want to make sure that nobody can legally steal it, or I'm protected, right? So we know musicians have been doing this for a long time, but now so many people making movies and shorts and skits. So talk to me how you actually got into this space.
Oh, that's such a great question. So originally for me, I actually started working in this space, taking down revenge porn.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a hell of a way to get into it. Excuse my French. I get it. Okay, so was it somebody you knew? You was like, oh, no, girl, we not going through that.
It grew into a practice area. I was doing an interview, and people started reaching out to me when I was talking about copyrights. Copyrights is in regards to like the content you create, like your photos, your videos, anything you write, things like that. And this lady reached out to me, and she's like, hey, my ex posted these photos of me. I sent him selfies, how it is.
Yeah. She was trying to do something nice for her, her dude at the time.
Exactly. And so when they broke up, he posted it all over the internet.
Woo!
And this was in the time period where revenge porn was new. And so we actually were able to get it down. We ended up shutting down a couple of the websites that he had it on using copyright protection. And so that led to me getting more involved with intellectual property rights. I started then working with brand protection, right? I actually spent a lot of time working with professional athletes. And so we would work a lot with them in regards to if they're doing collaborations, if they're getting sponsorship deals. And so trademarks became a major part of that as well. And that led to me eventually working with entrepreneurs and working with more entertainers along the way.
Wow, that's a heck of. Let me hit the hype bell for that. You just jumped into it, helping somebody out, and found a business niche in the process.
Yeah. Initially, so the funny thing is, I really honestly was like, man, how am I going to get this lady stuff down? Because back then, revenge porn wasn't like a huge thing. I'm like, great, we have to go to court. But copyright was the easiest way to do it. And so we just got really good at taking down those photos, and people started reaching out more and more to us. And I fell in love with it. But then my love for intellectual property even changed more so when I started looking and seeing the money right? Yes, it's protection, but there's a lot of profits that can be earned if you're very strategic about the portfolio that you build. And so a lot of my work started to get into the space of, well, how do we protect strategically so that you can see a profit in what you're building, you know? And
Okay,
so,
I'm going to slow you down just a little bit because it's just
go ahead.
some people may be just tuning in or catching up to this interview. So
No
you're
problem.
talking about people that have ideas and actually put them into motion, and then you're able to help them monetize those ideas by making them an actual entity.
So what we're doing is actually putting the legal backing behind it, right? So
Okay.
for example, you have your name that you use for your radio show, right?
Right.
If we wanted to license it, the best way to do that is to actually register it as a trademark. And then what we can do is license it. So a lot of people have some amazing like sayings, hashtags, things like
Right.
that they create. And what happens is they don't take the time to register it so that they can start that licensing.
Okay,
Right?
I understand. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
Pat Riley created and coined the term. Even if he didn't create it, he coined the term and trademarked the term three-peat for people that win 3 championships. And now it's licensed. So anybody that puts it on a T-shirt, they say it on the radio,
Exactly.
they owe him $1. They owe him some coins.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly where you're at. Or just like the most famous one is "Let's Get Ready to Rumble."
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, Michael Buffer. He needs it's like 1.5 million if you try to say that or something like that. It's crazy.
He's made over 400 million.
It's crazy.
Over four
That's
hundred
crazy.
million for Let's Get, and he doesn't sell any products of his own. He licenses out. And so what basically happens is, you know, you think of it almost like you get to pimp it out, right? Like
Right.
Mickey Mouse, you know, I have kids, and all over my house I tend to see Mickey Mouse cups, shoes, hats.
Right.
You know, Disney doesn't
And
make
Disney isn't creating all these products, but they've
No.
licensed people the
Yeah.
ability. They pay Disney so they can do their own Mickey Mouse products.
Exactly. They get the licensing because I saw Mickey Mouse on apples. I know Disney doesn't have a farm. So those are what, you know, and a lot of people miss out on that. So let's say, for example, you took the time to register all of your intellectual property, right? You register your hashtags, you register your brand name, your slogan. You can even register your color. We can register a trademark on a scent.
Hold on now, hold on. The color. So if I come up with
That
a
blue.
new color, so if I be like I'm Reec Beige, then we could license that out. We could trademark that out.
Yeah, and it has to be so. Here's the other thing, though. It has to be connected to the product or
Right.
the service you provide. So you know that Tiffany blue,
Right.
Tiffany blue, that's a registered trademark. Or T-Mobile, that pink, that's a registered trademark. Did you ever notice like no other cell phone company uses it?
Yeah, I did
Right.
notice that. And the only reason I knew that is because I have a book and I had to register trademark the Ice the Bully. But I had to put it on products before I could trademark it. So I had to put it on a T-shirt and a cup and some other things to show that it
Yeah.
was an actual, part of something.
Brand. Exactly. So those are all things like a lot of people need to think of it as how much of my intellectual property I could protect, because
Right.
once you build that portfolio, God forbid, you know, one day we're not all going to be here, but you can create the ability for your family to generate income from this for years to come.
Wow,
Right?
that's
Because-
crazy. Yeah, I love that. I definitely have a couple of phrases and things that we need to do some business on when we get off of this interview.
Of course. You don't want to leave it out there because you never know where it's going to come up. Like, for
Correct,
example,
yeah.
you know, Nas. I grew up with Nas, the rapper. Nas, not Lil
Right.
Nas.
Right. I know what you mean.
Nas.
I know. I see. I think I know where you're going. Let's talk about it.
Right? And so imagine if he had protected that, then Lil Nas would have been paying him a fee to use Nas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's
so-
what happens. It happens a lot in the hip hop industry. Like Q-Tip,
Baby.
Q-Tip and T.I. T.I.'s name was Tip, and they wouldn't let him release his name as Tip
Yep.
because Q-Tip had already. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, or Baby. You know, I grew up with the original Baby. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
This
And
Baby.
He had a trademark
Playboy,
on
you
that.
hear me? That
Yeah,
baby.
You wouldn't have Lil Baby, the baby. What week is this baby? I don't know. There's so many babies, but that's what you're trying to prevent, right? A lot of people for a long time were like, I'm not sure if I'm listening to Lil Baby or the baby. I don't know the difference. But that's why you have trademarks so that you don't have that confusion in the marketplace.
Right. Makes so much sense. doing this type of work to protect other people will be such a high demand because everybody has something that they think, whether it's lucrative or not, they think it's going to be lucrative, and it has the potential to be lucrative. So I would say that everybody may have an idea that has a potential to be lucrative, and you can actually turn that into fruition.
Exactly. Or, a lot of people are forgetting the importance of their creation. So that's what we spend a lot of time doing, is educating people on whatever you create is worth protecting. You just never know where it's going to end up. Right. Remember, like, sometimes you'll see old school photos or people back in the day. These people who took those photos had no clue we would be looking at them in 2022. Right. They took those photos. Imagine what's going to happen with your phone. These pictures you've uploaded to the cloud. Years from now, someone's going to be looking at them. So why not protect it under copyright so you can get paid for it?
But it gets a little tricky too, because I know that, like, LeBron James posted a photo of himself, but he didn't take the picture, and then the guy tried to sue him because he's the one that took the picture, even though it was with a camera phone. So I know that's where it gets tricky. So let's talk about that just a little bit, not dive deep into it, but just let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh, that's really easy. If you didn't take the photo, you don't own the copyright.
That's so crazy, because I could take a picture of somebody else and I own that picture even though they're in it.
Yes. Well, that's where the NIL comes in, right? The name, image, and likeness situation. But in regards to just plain old copyright, if you didn't create it, you don't own it. Now, there are exceptions to that. If it's work made for hire, like if you've been hired to do the photography, then you would transfer over those copyrights to the other person.
Right.
But generally speaking, the rule is whoever creates it owns the copyright for it. That's how we were able to work that revenge porn angle, because she took those selfies. Had he taken the selfies, it would have been the photos, it would have been a different conversation.
I got you.
When you're the one that take it, you own the copyright for it.
So if you're going to send a crazy picture to somebody, you better be the one taking the picture. In case it goes bad, you'll have a leg to stand on. I get it.
Yes. If you walk away with nothing else from this conversation, take your own photos.
Right.
Okay, take your own naughty photos.
I didn't want to hit the hype bell for that, but I did it anyway.
It's the best tip we can give, right?
Right, that is. The gift that keeps giving.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But
I love this.
Copyright. That's copyright. And then obviously, so IP, because you did mention our technical area of law, which is called intellectual property. It includes trademarks. It includes copyrights. It also includes patents, right? Patents are cousin. A lot of people don't quite understand patents, and it's in regards to inventions. So if you invent a new process or a new way of using an item, that's something you would protect under patents. Now, a lot of people like to think, okay, I'm going to patent my recipe, things like that. Patents, when you register a patent, you put everything out there. So it's no secret. You're laying it out, right? And what happens is patents are only good for 10 years. So after 10 years, everybody's going to get it.
Okay.
Right? So
you got 10 years from the day you receive that patent to do everything you need to do to try to monetize it and flood the market with this product or this whatever this invention is, because after 10 years, everybody's going to have it. So, case in point, when Super Soakers first came out, they had the patent. Everybody just bought the Super Soaker. Now you'll find a similar product in a Dollar Tree or Family Dollar because they're able to take that technology and replicate it.
Exactly. And that's important. If you do get a patent, that's why it's important for you to have a brand, because Super Soaker became known as the brand for that type of toy, even though there are other knockoffs out there, right? So that's also an important, they all work together. I think more and more people are understanding, they're making that pivot where they're thinking brand versus just building a product or just building a business. It's brands have the ability to outlive you and I. They have the ability to even outlast the business.
Right.
So this is why it's becoming very important. A lot of people are doing it. A great example of this is AT&T. You remember when AT&T went out of business?
Yeah, it's like Bell South took over everything or something like that.
Yeah, Bell South bought them, and Bell South was like, AT&T is a stronger brand. Let's rename everything. Because remember, their phone service, their cell phone service was Singular Wireless.
Yeah.
They renamed everything. So another tip, if you walk away from this with nothing else, to understand that even if you suck at business and your business isn't great, but you build a really amazing brand and your brand is super strong, your brand can be worth more than your business.
Wow. So that's another have a good name and keep it.
Yes. And register it as a trademark ASAP.
Right, there we go.
Because it's so heartbreaking when people get on the phone. They're like, Kendra, I've been using this name for 10 years and I'm ready. And we do a search and they're like 10 years too late, right?
Got you.
But example of this is that Lady Antebellum and Lady A. Do you remember that story?
Refresh me.
Okay. Lady Antebellum was the name of the group. And they decided to change their name about 2 years ago because they're like, oh, this is a little bit politically incorrect.
Right.
So they decided they were going to go by the name Lady A. There's a singer by the name of Lady A that had been using that name for 25 years, but she never registered a trademark.
Right.
So when they announced it, she woke up and was like, well, hold on, I'm Lady A. What y'all talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And so she went to go, file a lawsuit, stop them from using it, and she received the shock of her life. They had already registered a trademark on her name.
Yeah.
They had a trademark registered for Lady A. Not only did they have a trademark registered, but the trademark was registered for so long that it became incontestable, meaning she couldn't cancel it.
Wow. And that's because they went the proper channel. Even if they weren't the first to the party, they were the first legally to do it.
They were the first to register. So in the U.S., we have, our law is first to use, you're the owner. But it also has a little loophole. If you don't register it and someone else goes to register it, you have to be monitoring and on top of your ish in order to defend your rights. Right? At that point, you're what I call a common law wife. If you don't have anything registered, you hanging out, you're a common law trademark owner. Right? I call it.
You're a glorified roommate.
Yeah, you have some rights some places, you have some rights and you don't have none. And so she wasn't monitoring her brand. She didn't take the time to enforce it. So they sat on that trademark and they held it and she couldn't get it back from them. So another gem that you can walk away from is, you don't want to take the time to get it registered, then you better do a hell of a good job monitoring your name and making sure other people aren't using it. And as soon as you see someone taking that step to register, you need to be on it like white on rice.
There you go. Another gem. Thank you for that. You giving away all the gems, but there's so much stuff that goes into it. I hope that you guys check her out. Make sure that you check the website out, brandprotector.com. It's up on all of our streaming sites right now. If you listen on the radio side, write it down unless you're driving. All right, don't be trying to write stuff down and drive. All right, it's brandprotector.com. She makes it really easy to get to, man. I appreciate everybody in the chat. My boy Marv, he just reiterated that after 10 hours on the padded to refile the ownership.
So you would have to remember it's not about renewal, it's about inventions. So at that point, it's no longer a new invention.
Okay.
Right? Unless you change it in some way.
Like if you modify it to make it better.
Yeah.
Then you can. So I see Tesla doing that with the battery power on the cars. They keep modifying this patent, and I think it's just stretching it along. Yeah. I think they're waiting like 2 years, and then they do it again, and then they stretching out their patent again another 2 years. So I understand that. Yeah,
it's a strategy. This is why it's so important that you have a legal team that understands your goals for what you're doing, so they can better advise you on how to get it done.
Makes plenty of sense to me. I like it, man. Make sure that you guys tap in with Kendra. She's going to protect you and then get you to this money. Let's talk about licensing a little bit, because if we own it, let's say we do go ahead and patent or trademark our situation. We have our name. Then we can license it out to people. What are some ways that people find other people to buy these licenses?
Ooh, that's a great question. So it really all depends on the space that you're in. You can also do licensing for your content, right? So outdoor content, because a lot of people create videos and photos, and that's a lot easier. So let's say you do a brand deal or you get an opportunity for sponsorship, because, sponsorship deals are really something that a lot of people do on social media. You can actually license content to that sponsor, right? That brand. You would have a license in there. Now, a lot of influencers are getting hip to it, because before, what used to happen is it would be a license that goes into perpetuity, meaning till the end of time. Right? Now, influencers are saying, well, no, you can use my photo and you have a license for 90 days. Right? You can limit it. They can pay for extending.
Okay, but that comes with another check. That comes with another monetary. Give me some more money. Right, right.
Yeah, or let's say you are an influencer and you do a video or for a brand and you come up with a song to go with it. You can license the song. They have to get clearance for your song because you created that song as well.
Wow. Okay. Makes sense.
Right. So there's so many ways that you can learn to license it, or you can even do your own licensing. You know, a great way that a lot of photographers used to do was they would do photos. They would sell their photos to stock photo companies. So let's say you take photos just for fun. You take photos of your food, cups, things around your house. You can actually sell those. You can license those over to stock photo companies.
Yeah, that makes sense. With music, we do it so like I wasn't releasing music for the general consumption of the public. I was just licensing to some of these creation and content creation places and platforms that were doing sync deals, which work basically just like a license. So I sell it to a movie company. They use it on their film, but they pay me just to use it on their film.
Exactly.
All right. I like it, man. You're really, really schooling everybody. I really appreciate you taking the time out to kind of talk to our audience. I know a lot of people out here that have magazines or books or programs and things like that could benefit from it. Also, people that just have inventions and stuff and they want to do it. And then content creators with names and hashtags that they think they created or, you feel like this is yours. It makes sense to protect it, right?
Yeah. So one of our clients said, I love that he comes out with content almost every day. It's Desi Banks. He has content galore, like literally. This man, I don't know, he's a machine.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, his catchphrase, which is a parlay, we registered that as a trademark because that is his catchphrase that's associated with his brand.
Right.
So if you're on that space and you're always saying like a catchphrase like that, then yeah, that's something that you want to protect.
Got you. That makes plenty of sense. All right, man. Shout out to Desi. I remember him when he first was really getting out here and doing this thing, and he would come out and help feed the homeless and stuff with some initiatives we were doing, man. So shout out to him. Real good dude, real good people. So big ups to everything that he's doing. And I'm glad he's got somebody like you that's helping to protect all of the things that he has coming out, because he has some really creative stuff, and it'll be advantageous for people to try to, come up and try to take his stuff. When I say take, just kind of mimic what he's doing, but at least it's protected.
Yeah, of course. That's the important part. As a creator, I also want to leave you with this also important piece. You're going to create things, and a lot of people are going to attempt to copy. I think your goal is to focus on the experience, the whole experience of your brand. They can't copy your sauce, as everyone
right.
They can't copy that experience that you're going to provide. It's like, think about it this way. Riding down the road in a Honda and riding down the road in a Mercedes going to be the same road, but it's going to feel like a different ride. You put that a Rolls Royce on that road, it's going to feel like you ain't even touching the road. It's going to be
I try to tell people that, like, you cannot mimic. You can get on a platform, but that doesn't mean you're going to rock the stage the same way.
Exactly. So don't focus on that. Focus on your lane, because the Rolls Royce ride gonna be different, the Mercedes ride gonna be different, the Honda ride gonna be different, right? And it is absolutely fine. They can be in the same space, but they will not be you. You are unique in your own right. And if you focus on that and less about who's copying, you're gonna be amazing no matter what you do.
That's it. That's facts. We're going to leave that as our Reese's Peace of Mind for the day. You're going to be amazing no matter what you do. Just do it your way. I like that. And in the process, protect it. Make sure that you get with the Brand Protector, all right? And go to brandprotector.com. Mom, we're going to be doing some business together, so look out for us, all right?
Awesome. Great speaking with you. Thank you so much for having me. And guys, if you need more additional information, like you said, visit our website. You can schedule a free consultation.
All right, cool. We got to have you back and we could talk about protecting social media content.
Ooh, I love it. That one's a good one too. So definitely, yes, let's do that.
That'll be part 2.
You guys have a good one.
All right, appreciate you. All right, y'all, listen,
Bye.
We're going to get to this mix. We're going to jump out of this and get into this mix. You guys get ready. We got more special guests on the way. We got my boy Frederico, FDL Train, Calico Jones in the building. We're going to be talking about the history that is Fred. No move. This is Reec Radio.